Kentucky Speedway once again the site of the Xfinity Series playoff opener after first welcoming the series back in 2001. Here are the drivers getting ready, belted into their cars right now. And we talked about what these playoffs look like. They're a little bit different than the Cup Series, Dale. 7 races only to get there.
Yeah, but you still have these rounds, and you have to get through these first 2 rounds if you're going to be part of the championship 4. You can see starting here tonight, Dover next week, and then Charlotte after that, moving forward. And so you have these races, Kansas, Texas, Phoenix, a lot of mile-and-a-half racetracks, and that's what you're going to end on, trying to win the championship at Homestead, Miami.
You get points for your finishing position. If you win a stage, you get an extra point, bonus point. And then 4 drivers, the least amount of points at each round, are going to be cut off.
Yeah, going to be cut off, but through this first round, there's going to be at the minimum of 5 that are going to get through on those points, because the most we can have are 3 winners in this. So the best thing you can do is go out and try to win the race and let the points kind of fall where they may.
Those red lines down at the bottom, those are the real goals. 1 point for a stage win, but that 5 for a race win, a very big deal.
Yeah, certainly. You want to get as many playoff points as you possibly can, and accumulating that, obviously getting those wins, that gets you 5. Stage wins are going to be important. It's going to be up to crew chiefs and the drivers to kind of both do their job. The crew chief might see opportunities to steal a stage win there and get a point there that could benefit them into that second round of the playoffs, but the drivers are just focusing on the prize at the end of the night, that you want to win the races. Certainly those points are going to be and could be most important in moving you through, but you always know that that win is right there it's exactly what you want to move forward.
And what about this racetrack, Dale? They qualified in the heat of the day, slipping, sliding around. Now there's a little more grip put into it.
Yeah, certainly. It's the driver's friend whenever things cool down. It gives you a little bit better feel of the racetrack. Speeds are going to go up, so that could make things more difficult, too.
Remember, this track was reconfigured, then repaved last year again, and it's a powerhouse of speed for these Xfinity Series drivers. Let's get them fired up.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome tonight's Grand Marshal from the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce, 2018 Board-elect, Carla Schuessler.
Drivers, start your engines.
She's having fun, so are we. And the engines are fired. 40 machines ready to compete for the checkered flag in Kentucky. Welcome back to the Kentucky Speedway. NASCAR is on NBCSN for the opening round of the Xfinity Series playoffs tonight. Already a little bit of drama for the 18 of Kyle Benjamin. Smoke pouring out of the 18 there, Dale.
Yeah, you'd never like to see that as a driver, but seems like everything will be okay.
Hopefully,
hopefully
it's just a little extra oil burning off there for Kyle Benjamin. He starts on the front row, his second pole of the season. Ryan Priest to his outside, his JGR teammate. And then we start the playoff drivers. Behind him, Cole Custer, very fast, and Justin Allgaier, the first of the junior motorsports drivers.
Yeah, that could be a battle that we'll see down at Homestead in just a little over 7 weeks. So 2 very fast race drivers.
Thinking you could be right. Tyler Reddick is not in the playoffs this year, but driving a very fast Chip Ganassi Racing number 42. And Elliott Sadler for Junior Motorsports outside row 3. Dale, why don't you see if you can dial him up as we look at the rest of the starting grid.
Hey, Elliott, Dale Jarrett up in the booth. You have a copy?
Yes, sir, DJ. I got you.
All right, Elliott. Hey, it's just a year ago when these playoffs started for the first time for the Xfinity drivers that you were able to capture that win and move into the next round. How important, looking back, was that? And certainly that has to be your plan for tonight.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest win of the season, and we didn't really realize how much of an effect it was going to have on our playoffs till it happened. It just really sets the tone for our race team. Really kind of helps you start focusing more on the second round. So, you know, that's definitely our goal again tonight. Our 1 main financial Chevy was pretty good practice yesterday. We got a pretty good start spot up here where we can race these guys from here. And the main thing is keep this car out of trouble and where you can be around at the end and where you can get aggressive and try to go to victory lane.
Hey, Elliott, speaking of that trouble, this racetrack has been repaved a couple of times and redone. Doesn't look like from up here in the booth that the groove has widened out quite as much. Does that make racing and trying to make passes a little more intense here?
Well, the last 2 times we've raced here, we've had a lot of accidents with a lot of cautions, and I don't really see much difference tonight. You know, usually we share this racetrack with the Cup guys, and they help widen the groove out. We hadn't seen that this weekend, so it's a lot more narrow groove. think everybody's pretty amped up, you know, for the first race of the playoffs. So people might make some mistakes here. So it's our job to stay calm, cool, collected, and we'll give, you know, take whatever the race car gives us and try to keep it out of trouble, and we'll see if we can do that.
All right, Elliott. Have a great night. Thanks for talking with us, buddy.
All right, you too, guys.
That is the view from outside of row 3. Elliott Sadler. Here's our race analysis this weekend. Dale, 200 laps, 300 miles.
Yep, and just as Elliott put it, try to stay out of trouble. We have these stages, and that's going to get you to a final stage of 110 laps. And in trying to talk to the crew chiefs about fuel mileage, you can see their fuel window 60 to 65 laps, but they expect this to kind of split that final stage up. It's obviously not going to come into play in the first 2 stages there.
And we mentioned all the mile-and-a-half tracks are a little bit different. The Kentucky Speedway, most unique characteristic of it is what?
Well, I think the most unique part of it is, and the most difficult part of it is turn 3, getting down there. You're carrying a lot of speed with the repave out of turn 2 and down the back straightaway. Then you have a corner entry that you really don't pick up the banking until you're at least a quarter of the way down into that corner. Makes it, cars get very loose there. If you try to tighten up, then you're too tight everywhere else. So the driver really has his job and his hands full, especially in traffic on restarts and the start of this race down into turn 3.
We'll have pit road well covered tonight, starting first with final thoughts from Parker Clearman.
Well, guys, one guy I'll have my eye on tonight is the 48 of Brennan Poole. He comes into this race on the strength of 7 top 10s in the last 10 races. He told me the strength of this race team has been consistency. Well, what was he in practice? He was very consistent. He was consistently fast on the long run. So I'll be looking forward to seeing this 48 really good as we get late in these stages. Ralph?
Parker, Ryan Preece has made 2 starts in the NASCAR Xfinity Series this year, and he won in Iowa. He was hoping that might lead to some phone calls, but he told me moments ago not one car owner called him after he took the victory in Iowa. But he's gambling again here tonight, giving up his ride in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Series to chase victory here on a bigger mile-and-a-half. And he's gambling, Dave, that if he does get a win here today, his phone might ring tomorrow.
Well, we can only hope, Ralph. Tough market out there, DJ.
Yeah, it is that, because this is a very talented race driver that can do a lot for a race team. So we'll see what he gets the job done here tonight. I know he's very capable and a very, very good race car.
All evening long, as you keep track of the drivers on our scoring monitor, you'll see them indicated so you can pick out the playoff drivers. You can see it on their cars. They've got the red spoilers, the red splitters on the front, and, of course, the band across the windshield. All the Xfinity branding, and thank them again for supporting this series and making this championship a reality. The front row, though, they are the non-playoff drivers. That's what's going to make this run so interesting.
Yeah, and it's going to make it interesting because they're racing against these other guys. All they're here for is to try to win the race. Kyle Benjamin, Ryan Preece, that's all they have on their mind, is to try to go win and do whatever it's going to take to that. Not that they're going to be overly aggressive, but that's their mindset of getting to victory lane.
Here's where the playoff drivers all start this evening. And you can see that the lights are off on top of the pace car as they slowly make their way through turn 3 and 4. Dale, playoffs are starting. We're getting ready to go here.
Yeah, this is the most tense and pressure-packed situation that these drivers face, is getting this race started, and the playoffs started right here.
Pace car looking, now creeping back down to pit road. The field is in the hands of Kyle Benjamin and Ryan Preece, looking to the starter stand to see the green flag displayed at Kentucky Speedway, moving into the zone now. And there it is. The green is out to start the playoffs. Two by two, they make it through the first 2 corners. Now down the backstretch, Kyle Benjamin puts the 18 out front.
See Justin Allgaier there in the 7 car trying to do everything he could to get to the bottom as they got to turn 3. Slid up, but was able to hold that 3rd spot.
Whoa, that is dicey back there from about 5th to 10th. All of these cars mixed up there coming across the start-finish line.
Yeah, that yellow line is not out of bounds. Oh, got a car a little bit sideways, a little contact in the middle of 1 and 2.
Air pressure's coming up on the tires. The cars are not in their best handling condition right now. As you see a move, Michael Annett in the white nose there, trying to get around the red car down the backstretch. That's Ross Chastain. Chastain gets the spot back. Annett now fades to the high side of the 5. Meanwhile, Benjamin says, I'm going to make this my show if I can.
Yeah, it looks like about the first 12 or 13 cars are single file, and those drivers are glad that it got that way quickly. But a lot of racing takes place outside the top 10.
Again, we told you as you watch the scoring scroll across the top, if there's a red line underneath the driver's name, that driver is in the playoffs and trying to make it through to the round of 8. DJ, you saw this back in the pack with Brandon Jones.
Yeah, you can see it's a young man trying to go forward. You can see right behind Ben Kennedy there, and as he got down into the corner, had to get on the brakes a little bit. They got him a little bit sideways, cars all around him. These cars are a handful to drive. You've got to drive them extremely hard. They don't have as much downforce as they had last year, so the drivers have their hands full. Brandon Jones did a good job of staying off the other competitors.
Right, DJ, and actually speaking to a lot of these drivers before this race, a lot of them said the restarts, and specifically the start, were going to be crazy because of that single groove. You wanted to get down to the bottom. We saw this last year. A lot of those wrecks we saw last year were on the restart, so a lot of drivers doing their best to just keep the cars in control on the restarts.
Crazy is entertaining, but it can be costly.
Yeah, it can be. And we saw some of the drivers, a number of them that have a little more experience, understand this. They even lost a couple of positions because it's not that important right at this time. You can't win the championship here tonight, but you certainly cost yourself an opportunity to race for that championship at Miami in November.
Justin Allgaier has third in the orange 7, getting a lot of pressure from Tyler Reddick's 42.
People pointed to this 7 car, and I talked to Jason Burdett, Justin Allgaier's crew chief, after their win last week and how much had that helped their momentum. He said great confidence. He said this wasn't a new car. They haven't run it much, but it was a newer generation car. They felt really good about what they brought here. They knew they needed to step their game up on these mile-and-a-half racetracks with 5 of them in the playoffs.
And Dale, when we talk about staying focused on this race, you mean any race, the race that's before him?
Yeah, the race that he is in right now. So right now his race is this first stage. Stay focused on what's at hand right now. Don't try to get too much out of your car and trying to make an effort at that, because sometimes you cost yourself an opportunity to reprise at the end.
He settles in. He's about a second and a half behind leader Kyle Benjamin. Cole Custer has assumed that second spot. Ryan Preece, who started on the outside of the front row, has dropped back to 5th.
Yeah, that outside lane is going to be difficult as we get through and have these restarts after the first stage and any cautions that we may have. That outside lane is going to be the tougher spot to restart in. And drivers are going to use some caution at the beginning here for the long time, at least the first half of the race. But as things wind down, things are going to pick up in that, and they're going to have to be more aggressive from that spot, which will be very, very difficult.
Well, we love it when business picks up. NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Ford. We go further so you can. And by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. Just underway at the Kentucky Speedway. Back with more Xfinity Series racing. Sunday night is football night. Derek Carr leads Raider Nation into the nation's capital on Sunday Night Football. Mike Tirico, Dan Patrick, they host Football Night in America, 7 Eastern, only on NBC. Can't wait to see that. Kyle Benjamin loves to see this. The 18 still out in front. He's led every lap so far here at Kentucky Speedway. Dave Burns, Dale Jarrett, Parker Kligerman, and Ralph Shaheen joining you tonight on the opening race of the 2017 playoffs. Meanwhile, back in the pack, Allgaier has gotten out of shape. Preece, Hemrick, and maybe Tift get by.
Yeah, all you have to do is just slip up just a little bit out of the groove. You've got no choice but to come out of the throttle, and Justin Allgaier had to give up those spots. Tyler Reddick had already gotten by him.
Had already gotten by for 3rd. Let's see what happened to the 7 of playoff contender Allgaier.
We talked about this in these lap cars, and they started lapping. You can see Justin just tried to get a little bit more, got back to the gas quickly. That washed up a little bit. That allowed these next 3 drivers to take advantage.
Dexter Bean in the 92 trying to hold his line low. And Allgaier just slipped up out of the groove. Parker?
Well, guys, I'm not surprised to see him lose the front end there because he's been complaining that he's very tight in the center of the corner. See the one car, Elliott Sadler, make a huge gain on him in the center. Might have a little bit of an issue on that 7. Also, just complain about being loose on the entry and exit, but really tight in the center, as you see there.
Yeah, and that move that we saw early on the very first lap by Justin Allgaier, being able to drive off in between 2 cars into turn 3. We talked about how difficult a spot that is. Well, his car was tight enough to do that. Well, that's going to work against you. We talk about if you tighten up for that part, as William Byron goes by there also, if you tighten up for that part of the racetrack, then your car is going to be way too tight everywhere else on this track. And you can see the difficulties that he's having. He's just going to have to try to manage this without making this problem worse.
Brian Scott gets by for 10th. Here comes the 16 of Ryan Reed. Brandon Jones already gotten by, so going the wrong direction. Justin Allgaier not starting off the playoffs where he wants to be. And he was so confident before the race, Dale. We knew, and he knew from practice, that somewhere in there's a good race car.
Yeah, there it is, and it's just, it may only be 1 or 2 adjustments away right now, but you can see it looks like he might have the right front down.
Sparks coming off of the front end of Justin Allgaier's car, and definitely smoke now. Real troubles early in the playoffs for Allgaier.
Yeah, we'll see if this is going to bring out a caution.
Guys, they 7 and Justin Allgaier, you can see there, the right front is down. He just came across radio and said, I got a tire going down.
Diving down to the inside. Now, this may not bring out a caution if he doesn't leave any debris. And oh my, Allgaier already having to dig out of a big problem early in the 17 playoffs.
Yeah, he had problems here last year as he clipped the car of Sam Hornish, and they had to make a lot of repairs. He did come back and make a top 10 finish out of it, but certainly not the way that they look to start these playoffs.
And Allgaier made it all the way to Miami and the championship 4. Maybe the same path he is on here with early trouble. That right front definitely down and needs to be changed on the 7 car. Parker.
Yeah, as you see Justin Allgaier come in here, they're definitely going to go to work on that right front to get that right front tire off. Make sure they can pull the fenders back just a little bit there. Get these right sides on the car, and I believe at this point they'll go around and do the left sides for sure. Put the Sunoco fuel in it before Goodyear Tire Sunoco fuel for the 7 car and try to minimize the damage this brings right now. Justin Allgaier told me there before the race that you couldn't win the playoffs here, but you could lose it. So it's all about damage, minimizing the damage here for the 7.
Dale mentioned last year and the problems that Allgaier had in this opening event. Here it was, contact in front of him. That's the 19 of Suarez and the 2 of Hornish that day. But here comes Justin. Boom.
Yeah, sometimes just in the wrong place at the wrong time and create a lot of damage for him. But the crew was able to do a lot of work. You can see the left front damaged quite a bit in that left front fender and the hood, but they were able to make enough repairs and stay on the lead lap. That's the key there. They've got a lot to make up here. I was thinking, why are they changing 4 tires right there instead of maybe just getting those right sides and keep that to a minimum? But they're going to look at this stage racing a little bit different right now, and that's how they're going to try to take advantage of that.
Take advantage by at some point being able to not have to pit.
That's exactly right. They'll stay out and take the wave around as others pit, maybe after this first stage, something along those lines.
Allgaier now 2 laps off the pace in 39th position and definitely in the danger zone early on in the playoffs. With those fresh tires, he's going to make his way by cars like Brendan Gaughan, who has not pitted yet. Really, no one else has pitted at this point. It's just been Justin with the trouble.
No, and he'll be faster, but he's so far behind, even in that 2 laps, that he's going to have a difficulty. He's not going to probably catch the 18 to get back to just 1 down. So they're going to have an uphill battle, but there's a lot of racing left to go.
Kyle Benjamin slicing and dicing through traffic in the 18 now. Gets around the 46 of Quinn Houff. Puts him a lap down. The 99 of David Starr as well. Trying to chase him through there. The other white and red car, that's Cole Custer. Here's Ralph with more on Cole.
Well, the big thing for Cole Custer is conversations from his spotter, who is really working him through this traffic. That is the big thing. Don't make a mistake through here. He's having a little bit of trouble getting the car to turn in the center of the corner, so they're asking him to breathe the throttle a little bit. DJ, this is one racetrack where you can run it really deep into the corners, but as you see, he gets way down to the bottom there, and that's what makes him nervous.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do at this racetrack. I mean, you can drive it way down into the corner, but that's probably going to mean that you're going to need to use a little bit of brake, and a lot of things can happen, and you can create problems from that. And you can see here kind of what we're looking at as far as our scouting report. And, you know, he's been really good on the 1.5 mile There's 5 of them in these playoffs, and I think that plays right into his favor. A lot of it has to do with the team getting better, this young driver getting better, and he's got Doug Yates engines, and that says a whole lot when you're at a mile-and-a-half racetrack. Trust me, that's the only reason I had a lot of my success through the years, was having that kind of horsepower.
It's tight, but he hangs on to second right now with Reddick in pursuit. Cole Custer from California, the youngest driver in the playoffs. More from Kentucky. Welcome back to coverage of the VisitMyrtleBeach.com 300 from the Kentucky Speedway in Sparta, Kentucky, on a gorgeous night for racing. Mid-70s, and the engines in the racing are hot. And that driver in the white and red 18, Kyle Benjamin, it's been all about him. He's led all 32 laps so far and is slicing his way through traffic. About to put one of the playoff drivers, another playoff driver, laps down. That's Jeremy Clements he's coming up on. You can see where Clements is on the left in the ghost points. Already 7 out. Remember, the bottom 4, they will be cut off after 3 races, DJ. And we'll keep an eye, because every point, every position matters.
Yeah, and we talked about Justin Allgaier having his problems, and even though he's 2 laps down at this point in time, you can see he's still in that top 8 right now because of those playoff points that he was able to gather and start these playoffs with a good amount of points to begin with.
So Cole Custer looking good right now, the 00 on top of the playoff leaderboard. He runs in the 2nd position. And Elliott Sadler, the wily veteran that so many believe, has another shot to get to the championship 4 in Miami and perhaps take home his first ever Xfinity Series championship trophy.
Yeah, certainly it mean a lot to him, and you know, I think that Elliott right now is just using that experience that he has to let this race play out, make adjustments to his car. You know, all the practice was done basically in the afternoon in extreme heat, and so now they're in the first race that they had here this year. Was rained out on Friday night, had to run it during the day on Saturday, so they really don't have any notes to go off of as to what the track may do as the temperatures cool down.
That was nicely done by 11th place running Ryan Reed in the red number 16, got by Josh Williams in the 90, the 33 of Brandon Jones, and the 01 of Harrison Rhodes. You see on the left, Reed currently 6 points to the good on the playoff leaderboard.
Yeah, and we've seen at times Ryan Reed be very aggressive, and there's time to be that. But that was a very calculated move there. He saw an opportunity to get a couple of spots to make a couple of passes, and he had the race car to do it right then. So that was a nice pass.
And I thought about as he was going into turn 1 there, getting around David Starr, when your preferred entry is interrupted by lap traffic, that's got to be one of the hardest things at top speed for these drivers.
Yeah, you have to look ahead at things like that and see as the slower cars up there, how are they going to impede you. So what he did, instead of just driving totally in there to it, he gave himself enough room and then made a pass on the exit of the corner too. So you don't always have to just continue that speed. You can back out a little bit and then pick the throttle up and drive off the corner and continue that speed.
Good look at Brennan Poole here. A top 5 run for him so far for Chip Ganassi Racing. His teammate in the 42, Reddick, is running 3rd. That car will be shared throughout the playoff run by young Kyle Larson.
Yep.
But Poole will be the one competing for that championship trophy.
And certainly very capable with what we've seen this year of improvements and things that he's been able to do, of being there and being a part of the championship 4. I think his biggest thing is making the right decisions at the right time. Don't make those mistakes, whether it's on pit road or making bad decisions when you're racing. Don't get yourself in those positions. If he can do that, he will be part of that, because this team and driver has enough speed to navigate through these mile-and-a-half racetracks.
And guys, he's been very quiet on the radio. Hasn't not had much to say, but I am not surprised to see this 48 so fast as we end stage 1 here, because this is exactly what we saw out of practice out of this car. They were really good on the long run, one of the best cars on the long run. I talked to many crew chiefs throughout the garage, and they pointed this 48 as being one of the cars they had their eye on as they got to later in the stages and then on the long run, because of what we're seeing right here. It's always great when a plan works out, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, working out very well for Brennan Poole, and as well for the 21 of Daniel Hemrick, running 6th now for Richard Childress Racing. A nice top 10 run here as we get close to the end of stage 1 here in Kentucky.
So things that they're doing are running well in this stage, so that's going to gather them some more points even before we get to the end of the night. So things that they can put in the bank by just having a good solid effort here in these first 45 laps.
Slides the 21 to the low side of Joey Gase in the 52. Meanwhile, Kyle Benjamin has been caught. Cole Custer wants some stage points, some stage bonus points.
Yeah, getting that extra playoff point if he's able to get past Kyle Benjamin, which is a tall order. You can run somebody down here, but with that groove not so wide, you're really going to have a good corner to make all of that happen. But impressive run.
Dives into turn 3, coming off of turn 4. Will he get the run? That 00 car turns, and he's going to try him at the start-finish line.
Yeah, that's how you make it happen, and then you utilize the horsepower that you have under the hood.
Stage coming to a close. Benjamin fighting back, but Custer's going to clear. Nice run for Cole Custer. You know, Parker was talking about long run and cars coming around at the end. 00 looks to be set up well for the 45-lap stage.
Yeah, and we saw him run extremely well last weekend at Chicagoland, you know, battling Kyle Larson and other Cup drivers in that race. And so he did a nice job and has been very patient with this. You know, we saw him a couple of times run up on some slower cars, back out, and then let the race come to him.
See on the left there, the playoff leaderboard. Cole is atop that now. Elliott Sadler, who runs in the 8th position, currently in 2nd place. Cole has yet to win his first Xfinity Series race. Daly hasn't even won a stage yet. He's on point to do that now. Look at Reddick. Reddick coming through to try to take 2nd.
Well, it's been a great run. These 45 laps for Reddick have been really, really solid.
And so, for Benjamin now, the pole sitter, and losing positions at the end, doesn't look like a big adjustment. Maybe just something slight for his crew chief to work on.
Yeah, that's all that it's going to take. It's just something very small to make sure. And this could be a driver adjustment, too. He got out there and set a pretty torrid pace. Maybe he ran the car a little bit too hard, ran the tires off of it a little bit too much. So it might just be pulling back the reins for the driver a little bit.
Final lap of stage number 1. Cole Custer getting his way through traffic. Reddick in the 42. Boy, if it hadn't been for the 4 of Chastain there, who's just doing what he's supposed to do, would he have a run on Custer? He's still got 2 corners to pull it off, but he's not close.
Yeah, Custer faced kind of the same thing as he approached turn 3 behind the 4 car there, and so it made a little bit of difference. Let Reddick get a little bit more of a run, but I believe Cole Custer's going to get his first stage win.
Off turn 4, the green and white checkered flag goes to Cole Custer, winner of the first stage of the first playoff race of 2017. How about that? You can see the rest of the top 10 rolling through, and Custer, after a good qualifying lap, started 3rd. 00 car came around at just the right time toward the close of the stage. He's a quiet young man, but I bet he's smiling under that helmet right now. Cole Custer is your winner of stage number 1. NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Bank of America. Life better connected. Stage 1 at Kentucky is complete. The pits are open. The winner of the stage is Cole Custer. Let's head down to Parker Kligerman.
Guys, Matt Tiffin, 19 cars, the first box here on pit road. He gets 4 points for finishing 7th in stage 1. They're going to do Ford Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel in that 19 car, complaining about it being very tight in the center of the corner. Also on the right side of your screen, the 48 of Brendan Poole was awesome on the long run, just a little snug at the end. They're going to do adjustment in the left rear, Ford Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel, Ralph.
Cole Custer is in. The only thing he asked for was a little help in the center of the corner where he was too tight. So they make a small chassis adjustment. 4 fresh Goodyear tires and fuel go on for him. Meanwhile, further back up pit road is where you will find Tyler Reddick. Here comes the 42 out of his box. He really only did one thing wrong in that whole stage. What he did there was he went the wrong way around a lapper. He just took 2 tires here, and he's going to get right back into this race.
How about that? Kyle Benjamin off of pit road with just 2 tires changed.
Yeah, I'd heard that might be a possibility for some. I'm really surprised that didn't see more of that.
And that is because a very durable tire and a relatively new surface.
Yeah, and a short segment there, really. So, you know, it's no problem for the left sides to go 90 laps, which will be the end of stage 2.
So Cole Custer wins stage 1, the 19-year-old South Orange County, California driver. Started racing at age 4, worked his way through the developmental series of NASCAR and up to the Xfinity Series, and looking good so far tonight.
Yeah, I talked to him a little bit yesterday, asked him about a young driver, a rookie here in his first playoffs. What did he expect? He said, hey, let's go win.
Why not?
Got a good start at it.
That's the right attitude. Custer back on track. We'll set him up for you when we come back to Kentucky. Catch all the action of NASCAR and NBC with the NBC Sports app. Get closer with alternate camera angles, driver stats, and track information. Anytime, anywhere, the app. Tire specialist checking things over, checking the temperature and the wear on those Goodyear Racing Eagles from that first run. Let's go to Ralph.
I just want to clarify something, Dave, as we were wrapping up those pit stops. It was Reddick that took 4. Kyle Benjamin took the 2 tires, so keep an eye on that.
Very good, Ralph. And also notice the 7 of Justin Allgaier coming around, DJ.
Yep, took the waiver round there, so he's back to just 1 lap down at this time. He's racing like 11 driver. I'm not sure why he's going around these guys, because he really can't pass these people unless they're waving him by. But there's about 10 other drivers that are 1 lap down, so he's going to try to work his way past them to get in that free pass position.
Get back in contention to get the free pass and hopefully get back on the lead lap and see what he can do with that 7 car. Kyle Benjamin now entering the Geico restart zone. He's on it. We're back underway in Kentucky. Hemrick with a look down to the inside of the blue 21 on Benjamin. Boy, that's tight. There's contact. Behind him, Poole gets to the inside of Reddick. Meanwhile, jumping out front, Custer says goodbye. That could have been a lot bigger, DJ.
Yeah, it sure could have. And we knew these restarts were going to be something. That groove down into turn 1 is very narrow. And we know the outside guys. And when you make it 3 wide there, things can get pretty dicey.
Whoa! Oh. And the 33 of Brandon Jones gets in that huge crevice down on the apron and bounces up and into Ryan Reed, but they both save it.
Well, you can see Elliott Sadler.
In trouble. And now the 33 of Jones gets into Hornish, and they're in the wall. Everybody's scrambling behind them, Dale. I can't believe they're still rolling.
Yep, still no caution either at this point in time. A lot of damage to the 22 of Sam Hornish, though.
So Jones collected after the front stretch mishap and then got loose in turn 2.
Here's the crazy thing. Justin Allgaier's passed all of these cars and gotten himself in that position of the free pass, but no caution at this point.
Are you kidding me? Now he just needs this stage not to run long and get the caution to be the one.
Well, they wrecked. They just didn't get a caution. Gosh, what a lot of racing going on there.
My goodness. Well, it was crazy. Parker promised us it would be from the beginning on these restarts. Before we show you what just happened, let's head down to Ralph.
Well, we're down here as Sam Hornish comes in. They're taking a look on the right side of the car, asking for a hammer to get over to bound that bodywork away from the tires. Pulling everything out on the fenders that they can right now. And then hopefully they'll get this car back out as quick as they can. They think the right rear is okay. All the issues at the right front.
Now, if I'm telling you, Sam Hornish has had some bad luck at these Xfinity races that he's entered. Here's what we're talking about. Look to the left, the 33. Oh, sorry. Daniel Hemrick up in front, the blue 21. That's the first thing that happened.
Well, that's really pushing the issue, especially for a driver that is in the playoffs there, taking that chance.
Then this was after the 33 had bounced along the apron on the front stretch. He gets loose in turn 2.
Yeah, you can see a couple of times we've talked about this, being on the inside of another car, not having all the air on the spoiler and the right rear of the car that you need for side force. They did a great job. How they didn't spin and wreck there, I have no idea, but a great job of hanging on. But cost Sam Hornish dearly.
Those 2 non-playoff drivers, the 21 of Hemrick, was taking some chances as a playoff driver.
Sure.
Appreciate the aggression, and thankfully didn't get himself or Kyle Benjamin in trouble.
Now, and what we saw at the start-finish line before that, when the 33 was down there's a couple of drains down. You can go below that yellow line, but it's really, really rough. You can actually tear the race car up by getting in there, but you can, more than that, you lose control and create an accident.
Here's what you're talking about, DJ. Look to the right.
See right there? See these cars? Unbelievable. It's something that's been there, but when you're there and you can't see, you don't you can't see those cars in front of you right there, but you're not able to see all of that. Parker, it puts yourself in a pretty tough spot.
That it does, DJ, and he actually came across the radio after that and said, I hit something on the inside of the track. They're like, yeah, it's the tracks, the drainage ditch, exactly what you talked about. That's a big shock a lot of times. I can tell you from experience, hitting it completely unsettles the race car.
Well, and drainage was a big issue at this track for a long time.
Yeah.
They worked hard to make it better for the track to dry and drain after heavy rains, but we got to have a drainage ditch.
You've got to have that, and there's plenty of other asphalt to race on, but
Yeah, that's right.
all you got to do is give a driver a little bit more, and he's willing to take that chance.
Well, well, well. How things changed for a couple of fast race cars. Meanwhile, look at the playoff leaderboard on the left. Cole Custer is the leader of the race and is in position to be the leader leaving here. William Byron, 34 points to the good, and you see the 4 in red. Cook, Annette, Gone, and Clements in trouble right now.
In trouble right now. Obviously, we're just not even halfway into the first race of these 3.
That's right.
And as we watch this battle of teammates here, you still have Justin Allgaier that's in that free pass position. He's back in the 21st spot. First car 1 lap down.
Yep, let's review what happened with Allgaier. Had a tire go down, had to come to pit road, went 2 laps off the pace, took the wave around on the last caution period. And then, as Dale described, while there was chaos everywhere, Justin was making his way through the crowd to be in the free pass position.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He went where everybody was, and I watched him. He was on the apron a couple of different times making passes. Did a great job. He didn't follow all the way back. After he made that pit stop, he was back in 39th spot. So a huge gain for this team. That's why you can't ever give up. Just don't give up. Things may change.
Things just changed here between teammates. Reddick to P3. William Byron coming around to the top 5 in the 9 car for Junior Motorsports. Had the most wins of the playoff drivers, or the regular season contenders in the regular season. 3 of them, and you have noted that he really has nothing to prove. Don't cost yourself a chance before you get to Miami.
No, he doesn't have anything to prove. He's got a cup ride next year. So you know, everything from here for him is just about trying to figure out how to navigate through the playoffs and give himself a chance at Homestead to win an Xfinity championship. You know, he won the most races in the Truck Series last year, but because of a few issues, he ended up not being one of the championship 4, racing for the championship at Homestead in the Truck Series. He won that race, but he wasn't part of the championship battle. So just don't cost yourself a chance in this first round. He's got a nice points lead because of those 3 wins and some stage wins and things. So he's in a really, really good spot in starting these playoffs. Talented enough to get the job done and battle for that championship.
And such a good student of the sport. You note his sponsor, Liberty University. He's a student there as well, but studies this sport like no other. And on every race weekend, you can almost see he picks things up as he goes along and gets better before the checkered flag. Yeah,
you talk about it. He is so talented, but there's a lot more to it. There's a lot of talent out there. So how do you separate yourself by being that? And you talk about studying everything from the different tracks to understanding what you need. How do you become a better driver? Because you never always reach your full potential, and certainly as young as this young man is, there's a lot to be gained from that, and he does everything right so far.
Behind the 9 of Byron, the 20 of Ryan Preece running in the 6th position after starting on the outside of the front row. Kind of waiting to see if those adjustments they might have done on the 20 would bring it around a little bit toward the end of this stage.
Yeah, just solid. And of course, you know, again, not knowing exactly what the tractor's going to do, it may take a couple of adjustments. And with the stages, that gives crew chiefs opportunity to know that they're going to be back on pit road, where before you didn't know how many times you might be back there, but it might be a lot of green flag stops where you can't really make the adjustments that you need. Of course, his teammate, Kyle Benjamin, who led the majority of that first stage, is back in 7th. He took those 2 tires. Interesting to see. And, of course, everybody else is watching that, right, too. This is on the fastest, one of the fastest cars here, and it's not working out right now.
The driver with the really fast car took 4 tires and set sail. Cole Custer out front in the 00 car. Reassuming the lead, has now led 23 laps on the night. He's looking forward to the end of stage 2. Maybe a chance to get to victory lane before the night is over. NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance, helping drivers worry less on the track and on the road. It's the second race of the first round of the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series playoffs, live from New Hampshire Motor Speedway, 2 Eastern on NBCSN. The Magic Mile will no doubt deliver. DJ, the playoff leaderboard right there. Martin Truex Jr. with his win is already through. It's been an interesting weekend over there so far.
Has been. And Truex was fast up there again. So, you know, people say, well, what does he have to race for now that he's on to the next round? Well, he can make life a little more miserable for others if he continues to win races where they have to just think about getting in on those points and moving along.
He's the winner. They cannot be.
Yeah.
There's only one.
The only one.
That's right. At the end of the day. Now the stage wins, but that's another story. This guy won the first one, and caution is out at Kentucky.
Car's off of turn 4.
Off of turn 4. Angela Rook is around in the 78.
Well, that's the break Justin Allgaier was looking for. He's in that free pass position. Plus, it'll allow him to go get tires and fuel.
Very interesting. You look at the top of the frame right here, coming off the corner. Man, there is Angela, back end around. Nice save.
Yeah, good job of keeping it off the wall. Just came out of there a little bit high.
Her second start of the season, her first start of the season, right here. So a little track familiarity for her, but a little bit dicey coming off of turn 4 that time. So 75 completed out of the 200, 16 to go in this stage. And let's look at the situation of Justin Allgaier, DJ. Where does that leave him?
Well, now he's going to get the free pass. So now he's going to be able to get back on the lead lap. So they'll be able to come to pit road, get 4 tires on the car, get all the fuel. So then that will allow them, as others probably at the end of stage 2, come back to pit road. They can stay there and still be in really good shape because these tires just aren't giving up that much.
Parker? Pits are open.
Guys, you get the 7 there of Justin Allgaier is going to stay out and hopefully be in the free pass position with this caution. So this was huge because they did not have the fuel to make it to the end of this stage. So if they had to go all the way around, they were going to have to pit under green again, which would have been devastating.
And we mentioned pits are open, and a number of drivers coming down pit road. Kyle Benjamin among them, and Ryan Preece.
Yeah, Elliott Sadler also in there. So they're playing a little different strategy, too. This obviously didn't work for this team in getting 2 tires. They wanted to get 4 on here. But from this point forward, they won't be stopping at the end of stage 2. They'll be looking to break things up as they get in for the rest of the race when you have 110 laps left in that.
Playoff driver Ryan Reed came to pit road. You can see Elliott Sadler brought the 1 car down as well. Blake Cook in the 11 to pit road for 4 Goodyear tires and fuel. Under caution at Kentucky Speedway for this spin off of turn number 4. Brought a few of the front runners to pit road. We'll see how they line up in a moment. NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Ford. We go further so you can. And by Cologuard. Learn more at CologuardTest.com. See the backstretch camping area at the Kentucky Speedway. A good overlook onto the 1.5 miles, which has been chaotic in some cases so far. And a blessing strategy-wise to others. Now, a number of the front runners stayed out, but others have pitted, DJ, and the 7 of Allgaier got the free pass. Where does that leave us?
Well, he's back on the lead lap, so all of these cars that have pitted now can split up with the remaining stage of 110 laps and what they have left in this was 13. They can basically split that in half, and it gets them inside their fuel window with both of those runs. So it's just one more stop for them. Even these ones that have stayed out here right now, they're going to pit at the end of this stage. They're still going to have to pit 1 time in the last stage. So they were playing. These other guys are playing a little strategy that will allow them to stay out at the end of this stage and get a little track position.
All evening long, we keep our eyes to the left. The playoff leaderboard showing the bottom 4. And this is as they run. Race is not over yet, but at the end of the night, we'll see where things stand. And after 3 races, that becomes critically important because they will not make it to the round of 8. But that's far in our future.
Yes, it is. A lot of racing.
We have another restart coming up, and we saw what happened last time. Cole Custer has the field in hand as he approaches the Geico restart zone. Yeah, Henrik Hemrick looked down there again, but Custer said no way. Blocked that move. And now they go double file off turn 2.
If Hemrick's able to hold that second spot, he's really good on these restarts. But Tyler Reddick, great car tonight.
I'm telling you, Mike Shiplett and Tyler have communicated well and put together a good piece for him here. Oh, that was tight coming off turn 4.
It sure was. Fanning out, got 3 wide, 4 wide on the front straightaway. Elliott Sadler,
way down to the bottom, avoids the drainage ditch, keeps it together. Meanwhile, Reddick with pressure from Hemrick, Hemrick with pressure from Poole, and Poole's getting pressure from the 9 of Byron. Here comes William Byron trying to get by for 4th. He's got it. Brian Scott showing up in the 3 car, that black and yellow car. Off of the turn and coming down on your right, you see 3 wide at the start-finish line. You're looking at 4 wide on the left.
Yeah, that's where they started. Normally you hit those drains, you can see a little contact. Normally you hit them with your left side tires. Elliott Sadler actually had his right side tires on those drains. He was so low.
Boy, that is quite a ride. Meanwhile, Brian Scott trying to get around the 48 of Poole for 7th. Kyle Benjamin taking a look now. Remember, Benjamin stopped on that last opportunity.
Yep, got 4 fresh tires. So his job now is don't wear these out moving up through, because these guys are going to have to pit. Just get yourself in a good position. You want to keep everybody else behind you, obviously, but you don't have to get all the way there to the front. Just make sure that you take care of this new Goodyear tires that he's got on.
Kyle Benjamin moves through to 7th. Battle in the back here. Poole blocking now. Trying to keep Kennedy from going by, and Kennedy's going to stick the nose in there anyway. This will get dicey.
Yeah, I'm not sure how good an idea at this point in time of the race, especially as you're a playoff driver, of trying to block at that point in time.
Kennedy's going to take the spot. That puts Ben into 8th.
Comes Ryan Reed and Elliott Sadler trying to make their way through.
Poole can't be particularly happy with his car right now, Parker.
No, he is not, Dave. He's actually very loose. Just talking about being free on the entry and free to the center. And we're seeing that right now, being shoved to the outside where he is. It's incredibly tough. If you talk to any of these drivers going into this race, that outside lane is just not there. It just has not been in this repave. It's still not what you want to be. So when the position he's in on the outside and being free, that's a very tough position, DJ.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And getting in here side by side with a loose race car can make things even more difficult. And we're looking at 2 drivers that I summed up and talking about their scouting report there with the 48 and the 16 are drivers that sometimes find and put themselves in positions that can hurt their chances at making it through the playoffs. Elliott Sadler there able to get by Brennan Poole also. Brennan Poole just hanging on right now, doing a nice job. Just don't hurt your chances here. You're going to be able to get to the pits here before too long.
But he knows the stage is winding down, and these are points in play right here. They award points for the stage through the 10th position. Right now, that is Sadler, and he's out in front of him. So Sadler in 10th, tipped in the 19. He's 11th. Actually, he's 12th now. Poole is in 11th. And they're going for those final playoff points, Dale.
Yeah, they're trying to get in there and get some points is what some of them want. See Justin Allgaier making his way up through the pack here. But the main thing is, don't make a mistake that'll cost you later. They pay the most points at the end of the race. These stage points are nice to get, but when you're sliding back, your car's not doing what you want. Don't try to make things happen and get more. All you do is going to find yourself getting in trouble and costing yourself more at the end of the race.
Back up front, Cole Custer. About a half-second lead over the second-place car there of Tyler Reddick, with 4 to go now in the stage.
Yeah, kind of what we saw at the end of stage 1. These 2 drivers, about the same kind of thing. The 42 of Tyler Reddick has a really, really good car in these 45-lap runs here. That could be very beneficial. We see some long green flag running. Is that going to happen in this last stage of 110 laps?
Both cars glued to the bottom in 3 and 4, looking very solid. But the fastest lap last time, Tyler Reddick closing in on the leader.
Yeah, he keeps gaining just a little bit. His car is really good at staying down on the bottom of the racetrack, getting a nice, good run up off the corner.
Tyler so far this year has only scored 1 top 5. That 42 car looks the equal of that tonight, and maybe better.
Yeah, certainly his best run of the year, I think, certainly to this point, doing a nice job, Nick. You know, you look at this racetrack and the history over the years, there have been 5 first-time winners here. And so we see these two drivers running first and second. They were first and second in the first stage. Neither one of them have a victory in this Xfinity Series yet. Comes Allgaier trying to make his way all the way back up, trying to take away that 11th spot right now. What a nice comeback for them.
He's got it, and teammate Sadler is in that final position for a stage point. As you look at the playoff leaderboard on the left, Justin has climbed his way above the cutoff line, which is good. Parker?
Yeah, guys, you just think back to the start of this race, what the 7 car was able to do. He was running the top 3 off to a very fast start. A lot of confidence in that race car. I spoke to Justin before he got in, and he looked at me and said, we can win this thing. I know it. So I think they're definitely showing the speed that we thought he'd have after having that tire issue at the beginning of stage 1.
Final lap. Cole Custer has the advantage over Tyler Reddick. And coming to the green and white checkers again, stage 2 belongs to Cole Custer. And there's Sadler coming by in 10th position for that final stage point. We mentioned last year how for Elliott that was such a statement, the opening race of the playoffs. It's like Cole Custer trying to follow in his foot tracks.
Certainly is. This has been really impressive, and I think that we've seen this coming. You know, we talked about that this young man has scored more points on the mile and a half than anybody else this year.
So there he is. So far, it's been all Cole Custer tonight at the Kentucky Speedway. Bringing the whole family to a NASCAR race has never been easier or cheaper. Kids 12 and under are free for every Xfinity and Camping World Truck Series race on the schedule. Discounted tickets are also available for every Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series event. Visit NASCAR.com/KidsTix to learn more about free and discounted tickets for an event near you. Pit road is open, and maybe decision time here, Dale?
Some options here. The first 3 are going to pit for sure. Ryan Preece drove all the way back up to 4th, so he and Sadler and some others have some chances to do some different things.
Oh, and he decides at the last second to jump down. Parker?
Well, the 48 of Brennan Poole is one of those guys that was going to pit. The last time he pitted was on lap 48. They're going to do 4 Goodyear tires on that car, and Sunoco fuel, and think he was falling back in that last run because he was just getting far too loose to make a couple air pressure adjustments as well, Ralph.
Now they go to work on Daniel Hemmer's car. He's going to take 4 tires. He was a little loose on entry. Needs to be a little bit better. Off exit under power. Now we shift over to Cole Custer. He's a little tight in the center. Free off, but they feel like they were equal with the 42 of Tyler Reddick when it comes to coming up the corner. 4 brand new Goodyear tires for him and some Sunoco fuel as well.
There is the race off pit road. And we'll be back to line him up. Elliott Sadler stayed out. He is the race leader. We'll talk about his plans as we go nonstop. You won't miss a thing.
Don't stop me now. If you want to have a good time, just give me a call. Don't stop me, don't stop me, don't stop me. Hey, hey, hey. Don't stop me, don't stop me. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Don't stop me, don't stop me. Have a good time, good time. Don't stop me, don't stop me. Don't stop me. Having a good time. Don't stop me. Yes, I'm having a good time. I don't want to stop at all.
The all-new 2018 Camry. Toyota. Let's go places.
Get yellow tag clearance deals at Lumber Liquidators. Take 20% off wood look waterproof floors with coupon. Get pre-finished hardwood up to 34% off. Special deals and more from 39 cents. Plus special financing. Get to the yellow tag clearance at Lumber Liquidators today.
Before you open your eyes, at Smithfield, we're busy slow smoking. Before you sizzle, we hand select and hand trim. Before you were born, we gave birth to flavor, which you'll find in every bite of our naturally delicious hickory smoked bacon. Flavor hails from Smithfield.
Geico Motorcycle. Great rates for great rides.
Making the playoffs was a dream come true last year. But this year, we plan on not just surviving, but going all the way to Miami.
The Pittsburgh Penguins are Stanley Cup champions.
New season begins with NHL Face-Off, Blues, Penguins, October 4th on NBCSN.
So glad you could join us tonight at the Kentucky Speedway for the visitmyrtlebeach.com 300. It's been a good one so far. Spotter coverage is brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance, helping drivers worry less on the track and on the road. They're somewhere just above our heads here, DJ, and
yeah,
they've been busy tonight.
They're getting ready to get really busy on this restart.
Ralph, you've got more on Cole Custer, spotter?
Oh, that would be Eric Holmes, who's had very good success in his driving days as well, and he's been telling Cole Custer to keep an eye on the 42 coming up around the outside, and that Tyler Reddick has been very good on the outside on restarts, and they're very happy with Reddick's car. He's got really good balance, made no adjustments on that last pit stop. That 42 is strong here tonight.
So what does a driver like Custer do with that information, Dale?
Well, if you hold your lane there, he can't go. If you're in the outside lane already, he can't go to that next lane. He might be strong on the outside, but there's no grip up there. But you got cars on different strategies here. The first three cars basically have the same tires. The first four, they all just kind of stayed there with what they had. They got some fuel to give them a little bit of an option. Right behind there, you've got four tires. Could be interesting here.
Final stage about to start. Elliott Sadler, the leader of the race in the one car. Ryan Preece to his outside. Back under green at Kentucky. Sadler with a little nudge from his teammate behind. They get into turn one. They handle it.
Well, it's a really good job by Justin Allgaier there to get over on the fourth panel of the 20 and give his teammate a push, but couldn't slide up into that second spot. Preece does that.
He is free in the 7 car. Here comes Ben Kennedy in the 2 trying to take advantage.
It's always interesting whenever you put fuel in and you've run on tires, that always seems to make the car a little bit freer.
Allgaier now into the back end of Kennedy. Wow! Kennedy saves it. Allgaier through for the position. That was close.
Yeah, really aggressive move by Justin Allgaier there on Ben Kennedy, but that's kind of what we've seen out of Justin Allgaier for all the years. He's known to be pretty aggressive. Not backing down here.
Nope, that shoves Ben back into the 5th position now. Allgaier's up to 3rd. And these restarts, we talked about them being crazy. Tiff down low, protecting that position in the 19. A playoff driver. Where does he stand through 2 stages? Matt has not had that Joe Gibbs racing car up to the front yet.
Hasn't, but he's been very solid through these first 2 stages and doing a nice job. See Byron and oh boy, I thought that he might clip. Looked like he gave the 48 a break. It's going to cost him in getting on the brake and having to avoid any contact there. William Byron's going to lose a few spots.
Brian Scott slips through in the black and yellow number 3. Scott will keep 10th. No, that was close down there. Ryan Reed looking for a way by Kyle Benjamin. The red and white cars. Up front, Elliott Sadler got the jump on the resumption of the race. Ryan Preece has been tracking him down.
Yeah, and just to let you know, these two are on the same tire. They pitted at the same time for tires. The 20 car here, Ryan Preece, went in on that last at the end of stage 2 there, got some extra fuel. So he'll have a few more laps to work with before they make that next, what could be their final pit stop.
And DJ, think about this. That one car last year wasn't as good as they've been this year. His crew chief, Kevin Menering, told me this is the best car they've had here ever. But when they think about what they did last year, where they were running about 10th to 15th throughout the race and then use strategy to get to the front and win that race, this might be what they can pull off here tonight.
Yeah, I like their thinking and getting Elliott out front. He's been mired back in traffic, dodging a lot of things that are happening. So we see William Byron now must be thinking that he's got a wheel loose or a tire going down.
Unscheduled pit stop for the 9 car. He had a little bit of dicing back there in the pack. Now he brings it to pit road. Look at the playoff leaderboard on the left as we go to Ralph.
Waiting for William Byron to arrive in his pit stall. Here he comes. They go to work on the right side of the car. They're going to change tires over there. The gas man is pointing to the left, just in front of the left rear tire. The bodywork a little bit askew there. So they're going to go to work on that, get those tires changed, and put it back out. So that, obviously, that bodywork being a little widened out there must have rubbed on the tire some.
Byron, the playoff leader, coming into tonight. Now as they run back to the 5th position.
Yeah, no reason to take a chance there, though, as we see Elliott Sadler and Ryan Preece still battling for the lead here, but a good call probably by William Byron and not taking a chance. He came in as the playoff leader. He had a nice points cushion, so no chance in taking a chance at that point in time if you do have a tire going down and creating a bad night.
All right, look at the 20 getting through now. Ryan Preece's car looks very good, tracking down Elliott Sadler. Preece to the inside, coming off of turn 4. He'll pull up to the door.
Yeah, probably something that Sadler's not going to contest right now at this point in time. That's experience there. Sees the 20's a little bit faster at this point in time. No reason to push the issue.
And the 20 is one of those cars throughout the playoffs that will not have a playoff driver in it. Smart drivers in the playoffs need to probably do that a couple of different times.
Yeah, they're going to encounter these type of situations throughout. And Elliott Sadler is smart enough to understand that, hey, I may be one adjustment away. Everybody has to pit at least one more time here. So I may be one adjustment away to getting my car where I need to be, but so far their strategy play has worked. It has Elliott in a much better spot than what he's been tonight.
Here's a list of drivers who are eligible to compete in the next 6 races before they get to the championship 4 at Homestead. We mentioned Tyler Reddick's fast ride tonight. Kyle Larson will be in that a couple of times. Eric Jones is scheduled for a number of races. Suarez, Blaney, and the Dillon brothers.
Yeah, you see all of them winners in this, but none of them can compete at Homestead. It'll just be the Xfinity drivers that'll be there.
The lead, Ryan Preece. Of course, we know Elliott Sadler stayed out on that last caution. So Preece with pressure tires. He last changed them on lap 93 when most of the lead group did. Elliott hasn't changed them since lap 75. It was a big factor. Let's get more on the leader from Ralph.
Dave, we've talked a lot about how Ryan Preece didn't go run the NASCAR Whelen Modified race today in Loudon, New Hampshire. When I spoke with him earlier, understand that Ryan has already won the championship in that series. What he's most concerned about this year is winning it for car owner Eddie Partridge. That's the owner's title. He feels like next week at Stafford, he can lock that championship up for Eddie, have a good run here tonight, and who knows, maybe still Parker win that driver's title, his second in the modifieds as well.
No doubt impressive for him, and right behind him is Elliott Sadler in that one car, and you guys kind of alluded to it, but the key for that one car right now, not to fall back into the clutches of traffic. They've really struggled in traffic, been very free when they get too many cars in front of them, so using this strategy to get some track position, hopefully they can hold on to it till the pit stop, guys.
And Parker, let's clean up something here. The 20 car did not put on tires on that last stop, came down for fuel only. Elliott's tires are older, just that the 20 didn't get fresh ones that time.
Yeah, so they both got tires on lap 75, so it's just Preece has a little bit more fuel to play with here. If this race should go green, gets time for green flag pit stops, he has that option over what Elliott Sadler would have at this point in time.
Watching the 20 car around here at speed, it's so good to see when the car is set up well, but it's still so fast. I want to head down to Parker again. Parker, you've raced here before. They're doing 185 when they're at top speed here. How tough and how fun is that to handle a race car here?
Well, it is great, and I can tell you from experience, it even feels faster when you have the lights on the racetrack, because as you go around the racetrack, they fly by and almost increase the sensation of speed. But one of the things I talked to a lot of drivers here about being the Xfinity cars, even though we have a lower downforce, many of them talked about in qualifying being close, if not flat out, through turns 1 and 2 at 170, 175 miles an hour, and then just breathing the throttle down into turn 3 and back in it so early off of 4. So this place feels incredibly fast, and it's only gotten faster since they repaved it, guys.
That's a good explanation. We showed you the average lap speed there of the drivers currently on the track on older tires.
Yeah, as we watch Ryan Preece out front, I can tell you that Tyler Reddick has taken away the 4th spot from Cole Custer, so he's the car further stuff with the freshest tires and has had an outstanding car all night long.
Here he comes again. Reddick trying to pursue the leaders. Preece is ahead. Can anyone catch him halfway through the final stage?
You know what's awesome? Gig speed internet. You know what's not awesome? When only certain people can get it. Let's fix that. Let's give this guy gig. Really? And these kids. And these guys. Him. Oh, hello, that lady. These houses. Yes, yes, and yes. And don't forget about them. Uh-huh. Sure. Still yes. You can get it too. Welcome to the party.
Gig speed internet from Xfinity. Finally gig for your neighborhood too.
A cheeseburger and onion rings for $2.99? Last time we ate this good for $2.99, we were in college.
No, I was in college. You were in denial.
That's not true.
Get a cheeseburger and handmade onion rings for just $2.99. This is how you Sonic.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar, with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news. Some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little pour shot. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice-cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
For the holidays, we get a gift from Mom and Dad.
And every year we split it equally.
Except for one of us.
I write them a poem instead. And one for each of you, too.
Oh.
That's actually yours. That one, yeah.
Regardless, we're stuck with the bill.
Too many words are the most valuable currency.
Well, last I checked, stores don't take words.
Some do. Oh. Not everyone could be the poetic voice of a generation. I know, right? Such a burden.
The Bank of America mobile banking app. The fast, secure, and simple way to send money.
Playoffs are for the best of the best.
Kyle Busch gets the win.
In the playoffs, I'm coming for y'all.
These playoffs are my first.
Ryan, wow!
But they won't be my last.
In the playoffs, I'm the closer.
There's only one path to the championship. And we're all on it.
Who will win it all? Well, there's only one way to find out. Watch the FedEx Cup Playoffs finale, the Tour Championship, tomorrow at 11 a.m. on Golf Channel.
Gear up with the pit crew and get the latest NASCAR t-shirts, hats, and die-cast at the NASCAR shop. Visit NASCAR.com/shop for all of your favorite drivers' gear. Now let's check out your Toyota driver update here from the Kentucky Speedway. Ryan Preece is in the best position of all. Matt Tifft, playoff driver, running 8th, and then Benjamin, Yaley, Armstrong, Carl Long rounding out the Toyota lineup. So this is interesting. We show you the 9 of Byron and the 28 of Armstrong. For what reason, Dale?
Well, because young William Byron, who's a lap down now after that unscheduled pit stop, is now in the free pass position at this point in time.
And if the caution were to come out right now, he would get to come around and join the field back on the lead lap. We'll see if that happens. It's been a lot of green flag racing tonight.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we can count on that.
No, that's not something that you can count on tonight. You know, it's kind of been, we've seen a couple of spins, but mostly just the stage racing at the end of those that's brought out the caution. So just going to have to keep battling. That's all that you can do at this point in time, and see if things work out, just like Justin Allgaier did through his battle of that, and now he has himself up running inside the top 5.
I'm telling you, who is a patient battler tonight is Tyler Reddick in that white and black 42, because he knows he has a hot rod.
Yeah, he really does. He probably had the best long-run car of anybody here tonight, and he's showing that here once again. He's utilizing the best car maybe on the long run with the best tires at this point in time, and has run down the leader.
Coming across the start-finish line to complete 122 of 200. They get by some lap traffic, and Reddick is there. Toyota versus Chevy. Chevy trying to get the upper hand back.
Yeah, and that's where Tyler Reddick has been so strong all night. He runs through the center. You can see he's able to keep the left front just a little bit lower, not washing up at all, and then makes a really, really good run on the exit of the corner.
The big thing for Tyler Reddick is they just want him to be patient. They know they have a faster car. DJ, when it comes to Ryan Preece, they want him to open up the corner more when he has an opportunity.
Yeah, well, your car is going to dictate exactly what you can do, where you can go, entering your corners. And as we pointed out, that the groove hasn't widened out quite as much. We're seeing right now that drivers making a bigger entry into turn one able to do that because some others have started to put some rubber down there. So that's what allows you to do these things and make that bigger arc.
This battle for the lead continuing between two drivers that are not in the playoffs. Yet they are in position right now to get those 5 bonus points at the end. Well, they don't really count for them because they don't count for the championship, but they'll take them away from a potential playoff person.
Yeah, they might take that away, but that victory that moves you on into the next round of the playoffs is the most important thing here for the Xfinity drivers in the battle for their championship. But all these two drivers came here to do was try to win the race tonight. That's what both of them. They're auditioning. That's what they're doing, trying to get a ride, a full-time ride. That's what they're looking for with this, and not only to look at that, but just further their career.
Of course, Tyler Reddick has that in hand. He'll join Junior Motorsports for the 2018 season. Ryan Preece, we told his story before, so wants to be full-time at NASCAR's second-tier level. Maybe move on up to Cup, leading the Whelen Modified Series, or was until this weekend when he had to give up another race to come do this. Very talented driver. We show you Blake Cook because on the playoff leaderboard, he is currently in the out position. 3 races in the first round, but as they run, he, Brendan Gaughan, Jeremy Clements, and Michael Annett are the 4 drivers in the worst shape.
Yeah, Blake Cook they were hoping that they could come here run in the top 10. They told me that they felt like in this first round that next week at Dover is their best opportunity to have a really, really solid showing. So if they could just kind of hold serve here, have a good run, as we see a battle for the lead. Wasn't much of a battle there coming off of the corner. Tyler Reddick takes the lead away.
Reddick dives down with the 42, gets under the 20 of Preece, and they move through lap traffic now with a 42 at the front. Now, a young driver thinking about the end of his race. Does he try not to even go there, DJ, and just believe that whatever happens next is going to be natural and he's going to get through it, or some nerves here?
No, I don't think the nerves are there yet. He's just turning laps. He knows he has a really good car. He has probably what he's seen the best car in the long run. So this is playing right into his hands here tonight. So I think that he's probably very comfortable. The biggest thing he's going to have to do is make sure that he is looking ahead and paying attention to lap traffic.
Of course, Tyler ran here in July, finished 10th with all the Cup drivers in the field. So had a good showing of what could be come September. Ryan Reed in the 16 car running 12th. Kyle Benjamin, the pole sitter, trying to get back by him. We've seen these two together all night.
Yeah, they've been together, and we've seen Ryan Reed kind of working around that 10th spot all night. He's been able to get up inside the top 10 a couple of times, but that's a good solid showing for him right now. You can see there on the left that he is that 8th driver that would be in at this point in time, but just having a good solid showing. He's going to get another opportunity to make a little adjustment to his car and just have a good solid night. If he can get inside the top 10, that will certainly be a good effort.
71 laps to go in the race. Final stage of 3. Cole Custer took the first 2 stages for his Stewart-Haas Racing team and put Ford in a good position there. Custer currently runs in 4th, trying to find his way back to the front before the night's over. And you can see his position tied with Elliott Sadler on the playoff leaderboard. So remember, the 9 had issues, had to come to pit road for an unscheduled stop. Remember, DJ, when the race started, that nice cushion he had for winning 3 times on the season, and getting a postseason bonus as well. He's not bad on the playoff leaderboard.
Yeah, that's what's nice about the changes that were made is your body of work in the regular season can benefit you in the playoffs too. And right now, that's what William Byron is doing. Those wins that he had, getting stage wins and things, so that has benefited or is benefiting him in this situation where they just had a tire issue, had to make an unscheduled stop. So still a lot of racing to do here tonight, and he might make up even more, but he still has a very good cushion well inside that top 8.
And still in position to receive the free pass. If the caution were to come out, he's the first car not on the lead lap. By the way, that went last time to Jeremy Clements, playoff driver. He received the free pass, so the 51 is back on the lead lap, but albeit 26 seconds behind leader Tyler Reddick. Now, I mentioned Tyler had a good run here in July. These are the first lap sled of his career. So it's already been a good night.
Outstanding so far.
There's your top 5. They're all chasing Tyler Reddick at Kentucky.
Camry. Toyota. Let's go places.
Get yellow tag clearance deals at Lumber Liquidators. Take 20% off wood look waterproof floors with coupon. Get pre-finished hardwood up to 34% off. Special deals and more from 39 cents. Plus special financing. Get to the yellow tag clearance at Lumber Liquidators today.
A cheeseburger and onion rings for $2.99?
Man, I can't believe they still hand make the onion rings.
Oh, then you're going to love this. It's hand folded.
Oh, it's a swan.
Oh. It's a napkin, dude.
Get a cheeseburger and handmade onion rings for just $2.99. This is how you Sonic.
Please, a 1% difference makes all the difference. That's why U.S. Cellular put towers where most others don't. Sadly, they're using a good enough network.
Hello? Hello? Left or right?
What's one wrong turn? Oops. Bye-bye. A 1% difference makes all the difference. So get our strong signal with unlimited data and no hidden fees for $40 a month in the middle of anywhere.
Home. You know the feeling. It's where it feels right. Or left. It's where the kids play. It's a backyard barbecue with just a few of your best friends. Home is where families make memories that last a lifetime. Welcome to our home. One visit and you'll see it's not all that different from yours. Home is Charlotte Motor Speedway and the Bank of America 500, part of NASCAR's playoffs. Sunday, October 8th. For tickets, visit charlottemotorspeedway.com.
Bears, Packers. When it's on, it's on. The Bears charge into Green Bay, where the Packers look to prove that they control the North. Thursday Night Football, Thursday at 8 on NFL Network and streaming on Amazon Prime Video.
Back at the visitmyrtlebeach.com 300, Elliott Sadler has brought the one car to pit road. This is a scheduled stop, Parker.
That is right. They had used that strategy of staying out as far as they could go. Here they're going to do Ford Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel. Still fighting a bit free in traffic on this one car, so it's an air pressure adjustment. A little tape on the front end to help that speed in this final run, guys.
He had last pitted for fuel on lap 75, where most of the leaders came down under caution on lap 93. So I'm not going to do the math. That was almost 20 laps different.
Yeah. I really thought that they might could stretch because of those caution laps that they had, that they might could stretch to around 145, something like that. But they decided they probably figured this is where they can make their run. Coming in earlier, going ahead and get their tires. They were starting to slip back a little bit, so go ahead and get those fresh tires on.
So Sadler is back out. onto the Kentucky Speedway as Tyler Reddick continues to plow through lap traffic, looking very strong in the 42.
Yeah, he just setting a torrid pace, and we talked about William Byron being in that free pass spot. Well, because of the pace that Tyler Reddick is setting, that's not the case anymore because he's lapped Jeremy Clemens, who is up ahead of Byron at this point. So he's going to have to continue on, but outstanding run by this young man tonight.
California driver in his 15th start of the season, first laps led in his Xfinity Series career. Looking back at Justin Allgaier now, runs in the 4th position. Brennan Poole trying to track him down in the 48. Those are both playoff drivers.
Yes, they are, and doing a nice job. Great recovery. At one time, because of a tire issue, Justin Allgaier was 2 laps down back in 39th spot. Spent 27 laps 2 laps down, and then got a free pass and took the waiver around to get 1 lap, and then the free pass to get back on the lead lap. So really doing a nice job. Brennan Poole doing everything that he needs to do here really tonight. Yeah, you want to go win. You'd like to get that to move on, but I think this is a great solid effort at the start of the playoffs for this 48 driver.
You know, and you mentioned 2 rules changes that NASCAR implemented in the last few years, the wave around and the free pass, that the desire was to get competitive cars back on the lead lap and in contention. Yeah, you're going to have problems throughout, and so why not give opportunities? You know, you shouldn't be penalized so much whenever you have those inopportune things that would happen to you. So now there are those opportunities that you can take, and Justin Allgaier's used both of them here tonight to get himself back in an outstanding position. Poole continues to keep him in his sights. Again, Allgaier's spot is 4th. You see where they rank on the playoff leaderboard to the left as it changes lap to lap, and it will throughout the first 3 races. Blake Cook now to pit road in the 11, Parker.
Hey guys, it's going to be 4 Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel for Blake Cook. His crew chief came across the radio and said they were going to try and stretch this run out as far as they can, but this is as far as they will go. Deciding to come down a little slow on the left side. There seems to be an issue right now. Trying to get the jack underneath. This is going to be very, very long stop for the 11 car. That's going to hurt them here under these green flag stops, guys.
Yeah, costly under green flag, Parker. 21 seconds there. Normally you'd like to see 12, 13 seconds, DJ.
Yeah, I think definitely in the 13, 14-second range, so you're giving up 7 seconds. That's going to cost you a lot of positions, which either those positions are a point towards trying to stay in the battle for the championship.
So he hit pit road with 56 laps to go. That's about what we heard would be maybe the outer edge of the fuel window. So yeah, start seeing the rest of them come down here pretty soon. Yeah, I think you can look at 60, but you might as well go on and get yourself in position and get those tires on the car. Ryan Reed heads to pit road for Roush Fenway Racing. The 16 is coming in, Ralph.
Yeah, here comes Ryan Reed in that 16. He's going to need a little bit of help out of this final pit stop to get some more points out of this. They'll clear off the windshield, take a tear off there. 4 fresh Goodyears going on. Doesn't look like any chassis adjustments for Ryan Reed, Parker.
And guys, the 48 of Brennan Poole is now on pit road. It's going to be 4 Goodyear tires to Sunoco fuel for Brennan Poole. Suffering a little bit tight right now. Been one of the best cars on the long run, just not as fast as his teammate, the 42, is leading. Ralph.
Comes to 21 now. Daniel Hemrick in for his final stop. He's going to get 4 fresh Goodyears as well. And they're going to take care of a full load of Sunoco fuel for him as well, Dave, to get him to the end.
Hemrick leaves pit road. Reddick continues to lead. And so Tyler, when will he hit pit road? A lot of the playoff drivers making their way down now. Michael Annett in the red zone right now in the 5 car. Michael running in the 8th position after cars have pitted.
Yeah, and just trying to stay out there, trying to stay on the lead lap right now. Possibly can. This 42 is making that difficult. He's the one car that's still running some laps down in the 32nd bracket, 30-90s, where everyone else is up 31 20s and 30s. Parker?
Well, guys, with the comeback of the night, Justin Allgaier in this 7 car will come down pit road out of 4th place through 4 Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel, and air pressure adjustment on this 7 car. Just being a little bit tight in the center still, but a great comeback, Ralph.
20 is in as well. Ryan Reed's making his final stop. They put the 4 tires on for him and fuel, no adjustments.
Threw a little piece of tape on there in the front end of the 20. The 62 of Brendan Gaughan on and off of pit road now. Reddick continues to lead, continues to stay out. as does Cole Custer. It's like a little left rear tie rub maybe there on the 21. Looks shiny to me. That's why I said that, DJ.
There could have been a little contact that got that quarter panel over too close to the tire, especially on low air pressures after just making a pit stop.
Daniel having a strong run in the 21. The top 7 cars have still not pitted. Reddick fastest among them, the last of that group. Clements in the 51. Here comes Tyler. And he'll take that Camaro to the attention of his crew, and here's Ralph.
Well, it's a long trip down to the far end of pit road for Tyler Reddick. They made no changes on the last stop. Why would you on this one? They will put a new tear off. They'll take one off on the front of the car for him. Full load of Sunoco fuel, 4 fresh skid years, and that's going to be it for Tyler Reddick, Parker. Great car here.
And the 19 of Matt Tiff got all at the 3rd place on the long run here. So we're seeing Cole Custer here, Ralph.
Cole Custer's going to take 4 tires and fuel as well. No changes for him.
So Custer was in at the same time. You heard Parker talking about this car, the 19 of Matt Tift, on and off of pit road as well. We'll see how they all fan out. Top 3 still have not come to pit road. Jeremy Clements is on pit road in the 51. Kyle Benjamin back to the point in the 18 after gaining the pole earlier today, DJ. And there's a 51 of Clements. 4 tires for him.
Yeah, and with sponsors' help, he's been able to have 4 new tires all night long, which is something they're not accustomed to.
Ralph? And Clements is in and out. Yeah, you talked about that. A little more help coming for Jeremy now that he's made the playoffs. Help coming from Chevrolet. Help coming from sponsors to try to get him through at least to the round of 8. Green flag pit stops continuing. And the top 3 are still waiting out this run.
Yeah, just really hoping that they might get a caution to get in and get their work done under that scenario, which is a gamble they should take. This 18 has been mired back in traffic, hasn't been able to make his way forward, so this is a little bit of a gamble on their part. Really makes it difficult when you're out there on the older tires and everybody else has been on pit road. You're having to try to drive your car, get as much speed as you possibly can, but also know that these cars are coming at a faster rate.
Last of the playoff drivers to hit pit road is the 5 of Michael Annett, Parker.
That is right. He just came down after staying out there doing the long pit. Ford Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel. Been struggling to get the front end to work on that 5 car, and that's kind of been a consistent theme amongst most of Junior Motorsports car. A quick stop to get him back out there.
So Annett is off of pit road. That leaves Kyle Benjamin and Ross Chastain, who's 13 seconds behind the leader. Last pitted on lap 93. So they're right about at that 60 lap mark. Kyle's going to need to consider what his options are.
Yeah, they'll continue this, and as things shake out, it's going to be interesting to see exactly where, Elliott Sadler was the first one on pit road, so he's been out on fresher tires than what, say, the 42 of Tyler Reddick, who was the leader at that time. But it looks like between the way things have shaken out right now, that Sadler in the 1 car has gained about 6 seconds on the 42. But the 42 is going to have a little better tires here now that could propel him back a little further ahead of Elliott Sadler in that 1.
So Kyle Benjamin will continue to motor around if and when he pits. You'll see it in NASCAR Nonstop.
For a corn dog, come on.
Yeah, and everything's more fun on a stick.
Oh, yeah, really?
There's food on a stick, drumstick.
What's with the voice?
It's my stick.
No.
Glue sticks, glow sticks.
Get 50-cent corn dogs all day Wednesday, September 27th. This is how you Sonic.
I'm STP Auto Expert Steve Letard. From everyday to seasonal, we need our engines to perform at their best. That's why there's new STP Ultra 5-in-1 Plus. Fuel system cleaner and fuel stabilizer. Help keep stale gas out and performance in. STP.
With Smithfield Fresh Pork, the possibilities are endless, so you can bring great flavor to any meal. With a variety of hand-trimmed cuts, from chops to tenderloins to ribs, Smithfield uses the highest quality fresh pork to bring out the best in every dish. And because Smithfield Fresh Pork can be easily prepared in so many delicious ways, you can bring great flavor to the table any night of the week. Smithfield Fresh Pork. Flavor hails from Smithfield.
Get yellow tag clearance deals at Lumber Liquidators. Take 20% off Woodlook waterproof floors with coupon. Get pre-finished hardwood up to 34% off. Special deals and more from 39 cents. Plus special financing. Get to the yellow tag clearance at Lumber Liquidators today.
50 cents for a corn dog? Come on.
Yeah, and everything's more fun on a stick.
Oh, yeah, really?
There's food on a stick, drumstick.
What's with the voice?
It's my stick.
No.
Glue sticks, glow sticks.
Get 50-cent corn dogs all day Wednesday, September 27th. This is how you Sonic.
Sunday night, Raider Nation hits the nation's capital for a grand old party in prime time. Sunday night is football night, only on NBC.
Next Saturday, the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs continue at the Monster Mile, Dover. Next Saturday, 3 Eastern on NBCSN. Splitting a couple of mile-and-a-halfs with a concrete mile. That's always fun. It's an interesting first round.
Yes, for sure. A lot of things could shake out there.
Tyler Reddick thinks so. He's been leading this race now for a total of 29 laps. Benjamin has led the most. Custer second in that category. But lately it's been all Tyler Reddick with 37 laps to go.
Yeah, and he's been the best car on the long runs all night, too. So this is playing right into his hand. This young man just doesn't make any mistakes. He's playing right there for him.
William Byron to pit road in the 9. Let's go to Ralph.
William Byron coming down pit road to make his final stop here in the 9 car. We've seen one car making the 2-tire stops. Looks like they're going to go for 4 with him. Fill him up with fuel and get him back out.
Yeah, Ralph, you mentioned the 2-tire stop. That was Kyle Benjamin, everyone saw in NASCAR Nonstop, taking the right sides only in the 18. That left him in 13th position, 25 seconds back from leader Reddick. Let's see where this puts William Byron. You see on the playoff leaderboard on the left, still looking good above that cut line, which will be important 2 races from now.
Yeah, just unfortunate they had that unscheduled pit stop for whatever that was on the left rear that William Byron was feeling in his race car. So it's not going to be the night they were hoping for, but it's not going to be a disaster for him either.
William back up to speed. The 19-year-old now as he crosses the line this time. He'll show us exactly where he stacks up. That'll be in the, oh, now I'm searching for it, DJ, the 22nd position, 2 laps off the pace. So Tyler Reddick, former open-wheel driver, wasn't sure what direction his career was going to take him, but when it came to stock cars, Chip Ganassi gave him this opportunity to share the ride with Cup star Kyle Larson. And it's been an interesting ride. It's one of those half and halves, which is tough on a driver because he doesn't get all the reps. He doesn't get them all in a row. And he's a rookie, and there's not a lot of testing. But now he's showing what he's made of.
Yeah, and this is a perfect example of getting an opportunity at the same racetrack to race. And it wasn't that long ago, so he certainly learned a lot then. I think this is a race team that has made improvements, and certainly Kyle Larson has helped this team and organization become better in this series. So outstanding job by him. And, you know, not getting as much time as you would like as a young driver on the racetrack just makes that learning curve a little bit longer. But you can see all he needs is that time, and he's very capable of making it happen.
So we're going to go NASCAR nonstop as we watch Tyler continue to lead the field. But we're going to remind you of all the motorsports action on NBC SN tomorrow. Pre-race for New Hampshire, 1 p.m., followed by Countdown to Green. Then the Monster Energy Series racing from New Hampshire, followed by post-race and victory lap. Second of the playoffs for the Cup Series tomorrow.
Is your personal information already being traded on the dark web?
Find out with Experian. Right now, Experian is offering a one-time dark web scan completely free. Go to Experian.com/scan to see if your information is on the dark web. Then learn how Experian can help protect your identity. Act now to help keep your personal information safe. Get your free dark web scan at Experian.com/scan today.
50 cents for a corn dog? Come on.
Yeah, and everything's more fun on a stick.
Oh, yeah, really?
There's food on a stick, drumstick.
What's with the voice?
It's my stick.
No.
Glue sticks, glow sticks.
Get 50-cent corn dogs all day Wednesday, September 27th. This is how you Sonic.
I'm STP Auto Expert Steve Letarte. From everyday to seasonal, we need our engines to perform at their best. That's why there's new STP Ultra 5-in-1 Plus. Fuel system cleaner and fuel stabilizer. Help keep stale gas out and performance in. STP.
Get yellow tag clearance deals at Lumber Liquidators. Save $500 to $1,000 on Bellawood pre-finished solid hardwood floors. Take 20% off wood look waterproof floors. More from 39 cents plus special financing. Get to the yellow tag clearance at Lumber Liquidators today.
No. Pick up.
Time is up, my time is now. You can't see me, my time is now. It's the franchise where I'm shining now. You can't see me, my time is now.
The all-new 2018 Camry. Toyota. Let's go places.
50 cents for a corn dog? Come on.
Yeah, and everything's more fun on a stick.
Oh, yeah, really?
There's food on a stick, drumstick.
What's with the voice?
It's my stick.
No.
Glue sticks, glow sticks.
Get 50-cent corn dogs all day Wednesday, September 27th. This is how you Sonic.
Making the playoffs was a dream come true last year. But this year, we plan on not just surviving, but going all the way to Miami.
New season begins with NHL Face-Off, October 4th on NBCSN.
Knowing that you're competing against the best.
Sometimes you've got to piss people off.
At the end, it's one race to be a champion.
Get NASCAR coverage when you're on the go with NASCAR Mobile. The official app of NASCAR puts race coverage and live in-car cameras at your fingertips. You can even listen to drivers and teams discuss race strategy. Download free at NASCAR.com/mobile today. You know, a lot goes into developing a driver, and there was a developmental test at Darlington earlier this year. It may have done a lot of good for Tyler before running the race there. Mike Shiplet told me they ran 400 laps, bounced off the wall 6 or 7 times, and got used to that place. I don't know, that may have been a precursor to success later in the season here.
Well, if you can get it figured out at Darlington in 400 laps, if you only hit the wall 6 or 7 times, that's pretty good, actually.
It's a good average. The numbers are in your favor. Here's Elliott Sadler. The 1 car is in the 4th position, led 11 laps earlier tonight, getting pressure from his teammate.
Yeah, but having to make that pit stop sooner than everyone else, so about 12 to 14 laps, Twigger. He's got that many more laps on this set of tires, so it's allowing some of those drivers that he came out of the pits ahead of after all of the pit stops, allowing them to run a little faster times right now. Still hanging on, though. Good, solid night. This is what Elliott Sadler does. Exactly what he does. He gets the most out of the car, doesn't make mistakes.
00 in the picture there, too. Here comes Cole Custer. I kind of wondered, DJ, in the break there, why that we haven't seen more out of the 00 near the end here.
You know, I think that's part of a young driver, maybe everybody not making right adjustments, exact adjustments that you need. We saw him last week be strong in the first and middle part of the race at Chicagoland, and then didn't get the finish up inside the top 5 that it looked like that it might be. So it's just probably a learning situation, but another solid night for him. Exactly what he needed to do to start these playoffs.
I'm wondering if I just saw the same thing happen to Custer that happened to Allgaier behind the 1 of Sadler.
Yeah.
You can get right up to him.
Yeah.
Man, it's tough to
That's
make
right.
that pass.
Yeah, that's whenever you just lose all the air on the nose then, and you just can't make the car turn at that point in time to try to go make that pass.
Team Junior Motorsports in the 1 of the 7 trying to stay ahead of the Stewart-Haas entry. 0-0 of Custer. While Reddick continues to click off laps up front. Let's check in with Parker.
Well, guys, if you see those Junior Motorsports cars there vying for the 4th position right now, I'm not really surprised, because talking to them, they expected going into this race and going into the playoffs. I asked, who is your biggest competition? And they said, each one of them individually said, my teammates, the Junior Motorsports cars. So as we see, just now going to get to the inside, Elliott Sadler for 4th. I think they're not surprised to be racing each other right here up at the front right now.
There goes Allgaier. He's got that spot. Meanwhile, we've been thinking about the front of the field because Chip Ganassi Racing here at Kentucky, they have got it going on. Brennan Poole has just passed Ryan Preece for the 2nd position. Now tries to close in on his teammate Tyler Reddick leading the race. 20 to go.
Yeah, I don't know that he's going to be able to do that. He's 11 seconds back. But what an outstanding racing start to the playoffs by Brennan Poole. You know, these are the kind of things that we've been able to see bits and pieces through the year of this driver and this team becoming better and better. And it looks like that everyone at Chip Ganassi has decided that they saved a little something for the playoffs for these guys too. Have their best race cars here tonight.
DJ, here's the thing. If you think about the cars that have probably been the most dominant in this series throughout the year and look to be in the playoffs, you say the Junior Motorsports cars, but that's probably the 1, the 7, the 9. So there's that 4th place for Homestead Miami, and everyone you talk to points to the 48 or the 00. Sometimes they mention the 21, but this 48 comes up a lot, and they have a lot of confidence in that 48 camp. I can tell you right now, a couple times during this race, this crew chief has come on the radio and told them he's one of the fastest cars in the long run, but also that 42 leading right there is. So a lot that Ganassi has brought to this playoff right now.
And Chad Norris, his crew chief, was brought over there to take a lot of the Xfinity Series experience that he had over years at several teams, including a lot of laps at Roush Fenway Racing. And Chad's done an outstanding job of getting Brennan in good playoff shape here. Yeah, they've all just kind of made this organization better. And again, Kyle Larson is a big part of that too. Stepping up to give that driver, an experienced Cup driver, or more experienced now, even though he's still very young, to step up and give him better race cars, better opportunities to win in these Xfinity races. And that's benefiting Tyler Reddick and Brennan Poole both. So just an outstanding night for this organization. Tyler Reddick tiptoeing through lap traffic, now pulling up on Ryan Reed, who is running 11th in that red and white 16. Trying to put that playoff contender a lap down. 16 to go this time by. I mean, this is things that we see in this series only done by Kyle Busch, basically, in dominating and getting a race, a win, or leading the race. Obviously, there's laps to go, so anything can happen. But to beat the field by this much, just be able to put the car wherever he needs, do everything that you want get everything you want from a race car, and do the right things on the restarts, on pit stops, everything. Just a complete night to this point. Gave you that list of drivers at the beginning of the day who might have an opportunity to take a win opportunity away from playoff drivers. Reddick was certainly a part of our thinking. Yep. And there's Ryan Reed trying to get inside the top 10 to start the playoffs. He does take that 10th spot from Ben Kennedy. Trying to stay ahead of that leader. By the way, in case you were wondering, there have been a few first-time winners at Kentucky Speedway. That's a place that I think you think over the years that has happened more than pretty much anywhere else that you can think of. And it's such a different and unique track. Yes, a mile and a half, and there's a lot of mile-and-a-half tracks, but it has its own characteristics, and we've seen a lot of drivers come here and get that first victory. You get a feel for this place, and you know, it benefits you well. I'm telling you, that 42, there's a steady hand behind all of this. That is Mike Shiplett, veteran crew chief, who has dealt with developing young drivers. In fact, Brennan Poole was one of those drivers with Shiplett a couple of years ago. And so he's used to the driver changing, the seats changing in the race cars and the drivers changing week to week, and how to deal with the young drivers and what to put them through and how to push them or how to even pull them back in some cases.
Yeah, he probably does a lot of that. I think as much as anything, too, they have a lot of confidence in him. When you have someone that has that much experience, you know, when he tells them what he's going to do to the race car, what he wants to do, and what he wants from them, then they believe in that and they go do that. Makes them a better driver, and to have someone like that is invaluable.
This is the battle for fifth. Elliott Sadler has the one car in that position, but now Custer late in the run. The 00 is coming around.
You can see Sadler's car just giving up a little bit, especially on the exit, going not able to get the power down in the center because he's just losing the nose a little bit.
The playoff leaderboard. And as the 00 of Custer makes that pass, look at the top three.
Yeah. Got a three-way tie for it right now.
Very interesting, and it's kind of fun to track throughout the races. Again, we'll be looking at that very closely when we get to Charlotte.
Yeah, and we talk about during the race that every pass, every position, that's a point. That's something that could matter. You don't know when that might come into play. With these drivers, you think that they're plenty in good position now as that's shaken out to where the 00 now is the one that's on top there by point as Sadler lost that spot. So there's a lot of fun things to keep up with as we navigate through these different rounds. But a couple of tough racetracks coming up for them in Dover and Charlotte before we end this first stage for the Xfinity Series.
So Cole Custer, the winner of stage 1, the winner of stage 2, now into the top 5 with not 10 laps to go this time. Leader Reddick has already been by the start-finish line. He's now got 12 seconds over his teammate Brennan Poole in second. And without a caution, that's going to be plenty of room.
He's got plenty of room, but you know, you still have to concentrate, do your job. Things happen on the racetrack, and as we've seen so many times, whether it's Xfinity or the Cup Series, that these late race cautions make all the difference and change the entire outlook of it.
Showing you the gap back to the second place car. Brennan Poole, I think he just dove underneath our camera shot there. It's a long ways back. 12 seconds on a mile and a half, DJ. That is almost forever.
Yeah, we just seldom see that, that from first to second anyway, with a lead like that. It just shows how dominating Tyler Reddick has been.
You know, you might have said this, but I don't know if I've looked at it this way. The value to Brennan Poole now, with obviously his car running well, but even the information gleaned from the 42, even with a young driver like Reddick, how that can propel the 48 forward in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a whole organization. It's a teamwork, a body of work, and we're going to see, you know, Kyle Larson get back in the 42 some for some of these races. So all of that is working together, and I just believe that these guys in this organization figured things out and knew exactly how they wanted to start the playoffs right here, and you can see the benefits of that. And so it's going to make things a lot easier in looking ahead to as they approach the concrete surface 1 mile track at Dover next weekend.
Ganassi with drivers in the Cup Series playoffs. Ganassi with one driver in the Xfinity Series playoffs. Having a good season. How about Justin Allgaier coming back? Now fourth, Dale.
What an incredible night. I mean, that's just, you know, you talk about determination and what it takes to try to be a champion. This is the kind of nights that championships are made of. You know, I can think back to 1999 and racing for a championship of days that we didn't have our best stuff as Justin Allgaier tries to take the third spot from Ryan Preece here right now. That's the ones you remember. And this car and this driver were 2 laps down because they had a right front tire go down under green. They got 2 laps down back in 39th spot. They used a wave around to get one of the laps back, the free pass to get the other one, and just steadily moved up towards the front. Just you know, and he goes on to Homestead in Miami and wins this championship. They'll look back that this might have been the night that propelled him to that.
31-year-old from Riverton, Illinois. Spent a couple of years away from this series, plying his trade at the Cup level. Then came back and has been very successful with the Junior Motorsports. Made it to the Final Four last year. Wasn't able to come away with the championship, but has his eye on it again this season. Parker?
Well, guys, and you alluded to it, what a comeback this has been. But even last week, that win they got was a bit of a comeback. They didn't have a winning car, but they muscled out a win. And when he came across the line and won that race, his crew chief came over the radio and said, You never give up. That is why you never give up. And that is what this 7 team has done. And if you think back to last year at this race, when they got involved in an incident, they fought back as well. So it's just something that this team has done over and over again. And maybe, as you said, this could propel them to that championship.
It's just so rewarding as a driver to know that you came back from adversity and that you're capable of doing it. You have the team and the car to be able to do that, because you're going to encounter problems along the way, and it's how you handle those difficult times. Everybody can do pretty well when you have the best car and things go the way that you plan, but not everybody can handle the adversity.
And I would say Justin has learned a little bit through the 2 years in Cup. They weren't the best car, and he had a lot of long days, right? Yeah, absolutely. It's been a battle for Justin through that, and he's become a better race driver for it. And you just seen him grow as a person and as a driver in his decision-making on the racetrack. How about for this young driver, 21 years old? He's worked his way up into a position to be hired by Chip Ganassi Racing. Racing only a partial schedule. This is his 15th start in the season, 15th career start. Reddick is making it look good. Well, he really has made it look easy. And when you have a good car, that certainly makes you feel a lot better as a driver and be able to make moves. But he's also, you could see him a couple of times whenever he got in positions in the first and second stage of running up on lap traffic and getting himself there. He just pulled the reins back a little bit and waited for the right opportunity. The white flag was displayed. 1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank. Down into turn 3. Beautifully up off of turn 4. Tyler Reddick is going to get his first win in the Xfinity Series. And how about that? The 4th driver in 2017 to get their first win. Now, what's happening behind him? This is the battle for 4th. Priest coming to the line. Can Custer get by? It's not going to happen. Ryan Priest will take 4th. You see Poole has already clocked in 2nd. Justin Allgaier 3rd. Custer will have to be happy with 5th and a couple of stage wins. Absolutely. Good solid night. But there is the story. I won't say from out of nowhere, because that's been a good program. But Tyler Reddick surprised a lot of people tonight. And after starting the 42 car in the 5th position, will go to victory lane. Tyler's been watching the traditional victory celebration and knows how to do it very well. Somewhere in there is a brand new winner. By the way, 14.5 seconds over 2nd place. That is the largest margin of victory in Xfinity Series history at the Kentucky Speedway. Yeah, we just don't normally see that here, but this was a driver that had a really good car and made all the right moves tonight. Outstanding. Look at that. Yeah, looking back, that's the beast right there. She was a beauty tonight. Goes up to get the checkered flag. That's right. Celebrate with the fans. Big deal tonight for Tyler Reddick. And you wonder sometimes, there's a lot of pressure on these guys every week, but the focus was not on the drivers who aren't in the playoffs. Yeah. A little more room to breathe, maybe a little less attention. Did that help him at all? Well, maybe a little bit, but I think he just came here with some confidence, and he knew that this racetrack was one that he ran well at here just a few months ago, but also knowing that, hey, he didn't have anything to lose, but he has a lot to prove in doing that. And this just shows that you give this young man the right car, he's very capable of coming out here and running with the best. Never led a lap in the series until this evening. And that's the way to make the statement is, you come into when everybody else is here for the playoffs, they supposedly have all of their best stuff and they're ready to go try to get a win and move on to the next round. And you beat them by over 14 seconds. Impressive. So there's Tyler. He'll get back in the car, make his way to victory lane. 66 laps he led on the night. That was the most of any driver. And pretty strong performance for the 21-year-old. So we'll come back to talk to him in victory lane and witness again the celebration following his first ever win. What a show tonight by that young man, 21-year-old Tyler Reddick. His first victory in the Xfinity Series comes at Kentucky Speedway with the spotlight on 12 drivers running for the championship, and he sneaks in there and gets it done, Dale.
Just really good race car, and
he didn't sneak.
No, he didn't.
I should correct myself.
He might have snuck up on them, but then he left them in his rearview mirror by a long way. He's trying to figure out how to get to victory lane.
That's the best part right there. How real is that? Yeah, he came through loudly, and when that final stage was working its way through, that final 110 laps, and a green flag stop, crew did a good job, got him on off a pit road, no mistakes.
Yeah, that's the keys. He didn't make any mistakes, even with the excitement of that, of getting himself in a position to win. Didn't do that on the green flag pit stop.
Take a look at the unofficial results here. The drivers in yellow are the playoff drivers. You can see where they started over there on the right. This is how they finished. Poole, nice opening run for him.
Yeah, just solid. Just what he needed.
See a few of the playoff drivers here who had trouble, including William Byron, who came in as the leader, 18th tonight for him.
If those bonus points that he had coming in are certainly going to come in handy.
And those bonus points, they were there to reward what happened in the regular season. A lot of drivers and teams lobbied for that from NASCAR. And when they changed the system, we can see how it's made a good difference.
Yeah, those first 26 races should have meant something, and they do. And that's a perfect example of how having a good regular season can benefit you in the playoffs, too.
Hang on, Tyler. Hang on.
Let's get down to victory lane and Ralph Shaheen.
All right, he's here. Tyler Reddick is here and can come on out of that car, and you know this is going to be a loud party. Look at this. There he is. Let's jump in here. Man, that was one of the most dominant performances I've seen in a long time. We said you made a big statement. What do you think the statement is that you made here tonight?
I don't know if it was necessarily me making a statement. It's just Chip Ganassi Racing making a statement. Me and Brendan were really fast all night. He was able to finish second, and they had a really fast car last weekend. The mile-and-a-half program's just been unreal. Mike Chiplets brought me from ground zero all the way to here, and all the guys Ganassi have gone above and beyond and helping me become a better driver. And to be here today, you know, is surreal. We had such a really fast car here in the last time we were here, and to be able to bring a victory lane, knew the car is capable. Kyle's win almost every single time he gets in this car. It's fast. So would list really like to thank BBR Music Group, Enos, Parker Store, Chevy, and Xfinity for obviously putting on the series. So we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the fans. So thank you to the fans that came out, and thank you to the fans watching at home on TV and the X1 app. So
they only got on you about one thing, and that's when you came to the white flag. What happened there?
I just couldn't believe that all those laps went by and we didn't have a caution. I've just seen so many races where it gets to the end and the caution comes out, and it didn't. So right place, right time. We had a really, really fast race car. That helps a lot too. So we were just able to take advantage of it. We didn't make any mistakes tonight, and that's what it takes to win races. And these guys behind the wall and they go on the road, and the guys that put the cars together at the shop, it's all group effort, and it got us here tonight.
Davey started to celebrate a little bit when they got to the white flag. They said, focus, focus, one more lap. He did, and the kid from Northern California is in victory lane.
That's really, really cool. And he used the word surreal. Looked like he's still having taking some time to absorb it all.
Yeah, trying to understand exactly everything he's supposed to say and do, but he did a nice job.
Really nice in victory lane. Here's how the day ended for the playoff contenders. The leaderboard looks like this. Where they finished on the far right, and where they stand, Justin Allgaier and Cole Custer tied at the top.
Yeah, did a nice job there. Saw a lot of them in the top 10. Few have some problems along the way, and they'll try to recover, especially the guys from 7th down to 12th. It's going to be a battle there. It looks like Brendan Poole, with that second place finish, got himself in a nice points position right now, but still has to focus for these next 2 races to move on.
One race down, 2 to go in the first round. Let's see how the night unfolded. Kyle Benjamin on pole in the red and white 18 car. But it got interesting on the initial start and throughout the restarts all night, Dale.
Yeah, the restarts certainly were really interesting. This was Justin Allgaier early in the race, running inside the top 5. Has a right front tire to go down. Has to come to pit road, get that changed. They made a great decision, but were able to battle back.
Cole Custer showed that he is going to be one to contend with in the playoffs by grabbing the lead there from Benjamin and then winning stage 1. This caution by Angela Rook brought out the caution flag. See her losing it off of pit road there. Good save, though, bringing it to pit road. And then the end of stage 2, same story. Cole Custer again.
Yep, with Tyler Reddick right on his bumper once again for that second spot.
This is good battle here between the 20 of Ryan Preece and Elliott Sadler. Strong all night. And then this is Reddick taking the lead from Preece.
Yeah, had a little fresher tires, but also had a really outstanding race car that he knew exactly what to do with.
Rolled that onto a 14.5-second victory between himself and second place. And by the way, second place was Brennan Poole. First time Chip Ganassi Racing has finished 1-2 in the Xfinity Series. Good to see. We'll be back to wrap things up from Kentucky. Coming up tomorrow on NBCSN, all the racing action is from New Hampshire. The Cup Series in their second playoff race of 2017 will find themselves for NASCAR America starting at 1, and then the racing throughout, finishing off the day with post-race and victory lap. Moments ago, Parker caught up with third place Justin Allgaier.
With the comeback of the night, potentially the comeback of the playoffs, all the way from third after having that tire problem at the beginning of the race. Tell me what was going through your mind when that was happening.
I won't lie to you. It was a rough go there at the beginning of the race, but these guys in the Sprint Fest Agriculture Chevy did a great job all night and kept me calm, which was not. I was about the color of the race car there for a little bit, but we had a lot of speed in our Camaro tonight and just fought track position and trying to make our way back through the field. But the guys on pit road did a great job, and we brought a fast race car. So we may not have won the playoffs tonight, but we definitely rallied and put ourselves still in contention for when these next few races come to an end. So hopefully we'll just keep digging and keep having this speed, and we'll have a great shot at making it all the way to Homestead.
His team rallied when it mattered.
That is for sure, Parker. And as you look at the playoff grid, the round of 12, those 12 drivers will battle it out for 2 more races, Dale.
Yeah, goes next week to the 1 mile concrete high bank track at Dover, Delaware, that things happen in a hurry there. So you see who can navigate that. I think that's the great thing about these playoffs and these first 3 tracks, that they're so completely different, and who's going to be able to work their way through. We saw some guys have outstanding nights tonight.
And the comeback. You mentioned work the bad days out so that you can be champion.
Yes, give yourself a chance and never give up. And that's exactly what a number of these drivers did, especially Justin Allgaier. But a fun race and an outstanding winner.
Well, so glad you could join us tonight from Kentucky Speedway. For all of us at NBCSN, we thank you for joining us. The crew did a fantastic job tonight bringing you the pictures. Dale Jarrett, and for Parker Kligerman, Ralph Shaheen, I'm Dave Burns, saying thanks so much for watching. Tyler Reddick, the 14th different driver to win at Kentucky. It is his first career victory in the Xfinity Series.